Hello everybody and welcome to this video that how I put decals on, and here's a couple of examples that I've done on my Howling Griffin Stern Guard Sergeant. Now a lot of people would say that you need to use things like gloss varnish and stuff, but I don't. I use these products here called Micro Sol and Micro Set. So I'm just going to go through the process that I do for putting on a decal, and I'm going to use this new Terminator Captain for my Howling Griffin's army, and I'm going to be putting the decal, the chapter icon, on this shoulder pad here. So here's the decals, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to select the decal here. I'm going to use this little one here. I think it's a perfect size for the where I go. You can get these decals from the Mighty Brush. There's going to be a link in the description below. So I'm just using a sharp hobby knife, and I'm just cutting them out, and I'm going to put it to one side and making sure that my surface is dry, because I don't want any fluid to hit that decal, especially the decal sheet. So this is an old base, and what I've used is some of the blue Micro Set, and I've just poured it into that base, and then I'm just going to drop the decal into it and allow that to soak. Now these decals from Mighty Brush can take a little bit longer than the Games Workshop ones, but I really like these decals. They're really good. So I'm just now letting that soak, and I'm getting a little spare brush, and I'm just going to get some of that Micro Set, and I'm just going to brush it over the area where I want to go. Now, like I said, some people will say that you need to gloss varnish this area. I don't think you really do. All the gloss varnish is going to do is give you a smooth surface and allow you to move that and move the decal around a lot easier. But to be completely honest, on things like Space Marine shoulder pads and other Space Marine vehicles and fantasy models and stuff, you don't really need it, so don't really worry too much. But do get that layer of the Micro Set down first. So using my trusty pink tweezers, which I used when I moved out from the ex-wife, they're really good. And I basically just, what I'm doing is I'm just getting some of the Micro Set, and I'm just moving the decal around on top of the papers, just to make sure that it's completely and utterly removed from the backing paper. And then what I'm going to do is carefully get it lined up onto the model, and I'm just going to kind of sort of pin my brush onto it and pull the backing paper away. Now if you do get like a fold or anything, what you can do is just get a little bit of fluid on top, which is what I'm about to do now, and then I just move it around and get a little bit more of the fluid on there, just to guarantee it's going to move. And then just using a knife or something sharp, I'm able just to move the decal where I want it to move to. You can use a brush, but the problem with the brush is the bristles may move, and you may not be able to actually fully move the decal around. So that's why I use a knife. And then here what I'm using is like the side of my brush that I just used earlier, just to sort of flatten out and get rid of any of the excess fluid. Now again, there's been no varnishes used at this point, and this as you will see as I'm doing other stages, that the decal does move on its own. So even without a varnish, the decal can still move because there's fluid underneath it. So just make sure that you've smoothed it all out, and I'm starting from the inside of the decal and we're working my way out, and that's kind of just pushing any of the air that's still trapped underneath it and any of the liquid, and it'll just help flatten it down a little bit more. And then once you're happy, you're going to go on to the next stage. So I've left this for about 5 minutes to dry, and now once it's fully dry, I'm now going to use the red liquid, the Micro Sol. And this is the liquid that basically softens the decal paper, so it literally conforms to the surface. Now if you do this enough times, it will kind of eat away at the paper and dissolve it to the point where it only really leaves the ink behind, and you can kind of do it so it blends right into the model. So what I've done is I'm going to put this coat on and just make sure, and as you see, the decal moved, because again there's no varnish, but the decals do sometimes move, so I've just adjusted that just to make sure that it is back to where I actually want it. And I'm going to leave this for about an hour or so, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to put another layer. Now realistically, before I seal this, I'm probably going to cover this about 3 or 4 times over the course of maybe a day or two before I actually seal it. This is about after a couple of hours after it's fully dry and I've put another layer on. And I'm just showing off my Space Marine Captain at this stage. But some examples of decals that I've done and that I've been working on for a while is these on this Dreadnought. These ones, you can sort of see the outline of that, but what I'll do is I'll get some matte varnish and put that over the top and fully seal it, and that'll get rid of it. The one on the knee and the one on the yellow arm of the Dreadnought, they're completely done. They're varnished and everything else, but the 2 larger Griffin symbols, I'm still working on those. So I hope that you found this video helpful, and I'll catch you in the next video. Goodbye for now.